Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving straight into the latest UN data to uncover the absolute demographic giants shaping our world this year. We're going to unpack exactly who the biggest players are and, honestly, more importantly, what their massive numbers actually mean for our shared future. Let's get into it.
So, you might be wondering, which countries actually dominate the global population chart in 2025? Look, when we talk about hundreds of millions, or literally well over a billion people living in a single nation, we aren't just rattling off trivia. We are looking at the true engines of the global economy, massive resource consumption, and urbanization on a scale we've barely seen before.
Here is how we're breaking it down today. First, the 2025 landscape, then Asia's dominance, followed by the Americas and Russia, Africa's rapid growth, and finally, those cascading global impacts.
Starting off with Section 1, the 2025 landscape, a look at the top 10.
Now, looking at the top 10 most populated nations globally, what's really wild is the sheer diversity here. From India and China up at the very top, all the way down to Mexico at number 10, this group crosses basically every major geographic, cultural, and economic boundary you can think of. These nations are completely distinct, united really only by the absolute, staggering scale of their populations.
Moving right along to Section 2, Asia's dominance, the concentration of powerhouses.
You know, it's pretty crazy to think about, but exactly half of the global top 10 is located in Asia. When demographic experts map out global trends, their eyes are heavily fixed right here, on India, China, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The pure density of humanity in this specific region is basically the primary driver of global markets, workforce dynamics, and international development right now. It's an absolute game changer.
And zooming in a bit, Southeast Asia isn't just large, it is urbanizing at a breakneck pace. Countries like Indonesia prove that this region is no longer just along for the ride in the global economy. No, they are actively steering its future trajectory. It's this massive demographic engine, and it's only gaining momentum.
All right, Section 3, the Americas and Russia, established and evolving players.
So stepping outside of Asia for a second, there's a really fascinating contrast among the established giants. You've got the United States, right? A highly developed nation that is actually still actively growing and evolving, really maintaining its unique status as a demographic powerhouse. But then, on the flip side, heavyweights like Brazil, Mexico, and Russia are relying on their massive land masses and steady, established populations to exert immense geopolitical, trade, and regional influence. Two very different approaches, but both incredibly impactful.
Next up, Section 4, Africa's rapid growth, a demographic surge. If we're talking about momentum, Africa is where the most dramatic, unstoppable demographic surge is building today. I mean, Nigeria's spot in the top 10, that is just the tip of the spear. This ongoing surge absolutely guarantees a younger global workforce, rapidly expanding urban centers, and a massive shift in overall geopolitical influence straight toward the African continent in the coming decades.
And that brings us to Section 5, cascading impacts, the global ripple effect.
So, what does this all mean? Well, a massive population triggers a completely unavoidable chain reaction. Think about it. You add millions of people to a map, and you immediately strain physical infrastructure. I'm talking more roads, more housing, bigger energy grids. That directly ripples into this urgent need to overhaul education and mass employment, just to sustain that population, which obviously subsequently tests the utter limits of the healthcare system. But if a nation actually manages to balance all of that, they completely shift the scales of international politics.
It really is a razor-thin balancing act. On one hand, the challenges of urban strain and the staggering resource consumption required to feed and power these nations are frankly daunting. But the flip side? It offers historically unprecedented economic opportunity. These massive populations possess the sheer gravity to basically dictate global tech trends, consumer markets, and the entire future of human development for generations to come.
Ultimately, what you should take away from this is perfectly summarized by this idea. It's not just about how many people live in a country. It's about how those people live, work, and shape the future. We aren't just counting heads in India, China, the US, or Nigeria. We are looking at billions of individual lives that collectively steer the entire direction of our global society.
So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. Looking at the top 10 list today, which country's growth surprised you the most? And how will their continued demographic evolution impact your corner of the globe? Keep digging into the data, keep exploring, and thanks for joining me for this explainer.